Well, there is a concept you definitely have to understand in a really, really basic scheme. Let's go with this. And it's a concept of willing and able. Willing means not more, not less than is there a demand, not just interest. Is there a demand to actually solving a problem? Let's make an example with something that's probably not that correct, which will not work. If you sell soccer balls and 60,000 people go to a soccer match, right, in Barcelona or wherever, 60,000 people are raving fans of, let's say, a team or even soccer, but that does not mean at all that they will buy a soccer ball. So is there demand is a really kind of research stuff where you definitely 100% have to be sure that people are willing to take a look at your offer because they realize there is a potential to implement and to increase hopefully profit or decrease time. That's what I'm talking about with willing, right? Is there a demand? And we talk about business, a business level, which always end to the same two factors: increase profit and decrease time. And is there an actual demand? And the next part is able. Can they afford your solution? Means you have something, a product or a service, a solution, and someone else will exchange money to get this solution, and that happened because person B who has purchased your solution see the equal value or more than the money they give. So are they able to afford your solution, right? Let's go with this. If you have a 13-year-old gamer who'd like to overcome an obstacle in a game, and there is a course about how to move through the whole game, and the course costs $47, there may be a demand. This guy wants to know how to overcome that level, but he is not able to afford it because he has no cash. So that's the pretty basic you have to understand. And here is why webinar closing gets so fucking powerful. Is there a demand? And let's go with this. If someone runs a webinar with the intention to sell something, and at the end there is an offer where people can purchase a solution presented on the webinar, that's why people run webinars most of the time. And let's say you have 100 attendees who watch this webinar and 20 of them buy the stuff at the end, you have 80 people left. 80% does not purchase your stuff. So would you say the webinar runner is maybe interested to increase the closing conversion from 20 people to 60? Is there a demand? We don't have to discuss about this, right? For sure there is a demand. People try to increase sales conversions, which I told you as I began this conversation, if you can increase profit or decrease time, these guys will listen to you. We talk about business again. So is there a demand if you go and say, hey, look, if you have a 20% conversion rate on your webinar, you still have 80 people left. And the chances are you cannot convince them with an email series or sequence that good. Like if we would call them and ask them, that's probably a thing that makes sense for you. Yes, it is. So is there a demand to try this out for free? And if we can actually increase and close more from your attendees, which you have already on the table, that cost you no time at all except to send me 30 to 50 leads to test, would you be interested to go for this? So that's the demand rule. There is a demand, nobody says no, and it's all on the table. Now the second part is, can they afford it? I mean, if someone comes to us and we go for this, it costs you a setup fee because we need to go over the webinar, to go over the product, depends on what it is. Now the question is, can they afford it? And if they run a webinar with $1,000 offer and they have a conversion rate for 20%, that means they made per webinar $20,000. So can they afford a $3,000 upfront fee? Hell yeah. So there is a demand and they can afford it. And that's why a webinar closer agency license is so fucking powerful.